I often claim that the most important question we have to start with is, who is Jesus to you? And by the end of this video, I hope you can appreciate that one of the things that is true about Jesus is he is bigger than Roger Goodell. That's the current commissioner of the NFL. Now, sub in any league or any name you want. Jesus is bigger and better than any of them. I hope you see what I mean. But first, as always, I want you to know you can click on the link in the description below that goes with this video for our resources and online course. All right, let me be clear to my friends who profess to have faith in Jesus. If we are serious about answering this question of who is Jesus to you, who he is to us, then we will have a whole new outlook on others. One of the clearest truths that we will see is that Muslims are not our enemies. The Jew, the Hindu, the Buddhist is not our enemy. The atheist is not our enemy. Look, at some point, we have to take Jesus seriously. We have to deal with what he actually said and did. And as we do, we find it is the corrective needed to right this ship of Christianity, that was ship with a P, and save it from all of this religious doom and gloom. The undeniable fact is the Christian religion has left a trail of disaster throughout history. It's not hard to point to the Crusades, war, prejudice, and greed that have left millions of people worse off than if religion had never appeared on the scene. Now, to be fair, there is also a tremendous amount of good that has been done in the name of God that also would have never occurred without religion. I acknowledge that. Now, while we could come up with a long list of problematic issues with religion, as I've actually done in the book I wrote, the major flaw they all have in common is the view of another as the outsider. Almost all Christ-less acts committed by Christians, such as violence and discrimination, are the result of a conviction that we are in and they are out. And this is nothing new. I'm intrigued by a short anecdote included in the Gospel of Mark. Jesus' disciples come to him and say, "Hey, we saw someone driving out demons in your name, and we told him to stop. Like, knock it off, man. You're not one of us." So they came to Jesus to let him know, we found someone trying to do something good, but don't worry, we shut that down because, quote, he was not one of us. I'm not sure they expected Jesus' reaction, but he says back to them, do not stop him. Then he essentially tells them someone who is doing miracles in his name can't also be saying bad things about him at the same time. And then he gives this famous line, whoever is not against us is for us. Think about how badly his disciples got it wrong here. They told someone to stop driving out Jesus' true enemies, demons, because, quote, he was not one of them. They took a stand against someone who was not against Jesus because that person was taking a stand against evil spirits who were against Jesus. Like, do you see how backward this thinking is? They would rather let evil prevail than have someone who was not following their lead participate in stopping it. Let the absurdity of this scenario settle in because we still do this all the time today. We cannot afford to continue to get this wrong 2,000 years later. It hurts our world. It tarnishes the reputation of the true church. It misrepresents Jesus. With his corrective rebuke, Jesus responds to everything wrong with religion. Jesus tried to teach his disciples this profound point from the beginning. Whoever's not against us is for us. In other words, Team Jesus is much bigger than you think it is. Christians have added stipulations to Jesus' clear teaching. Now, we have said that Muslims, Jews, atheists, and many others are not on the team. I think at last I heard there are between 25 and 30,000 Christian denominations across the globe. And many of them believe that many of the others of them are not on the team. We've said gay people are not on the team. Some conservatives say liberals are not on the team, and vice versa. In light of what Jesus said, if there is a case to be made, it might honestly be that people who feel it is their place and their job to assign team jerseys are the only ones fooling themselves. Maybe it could be that they're actually the ones not on the team. Maybe they are the ones who would prefer for the demonic powers to win the day just because someone who believes and thinks differently is not one of us. This is a crucial distinction because Jesus was also very clear that there were indeed enemies and people who were against him. There is no shortage of Jesus taking on demonic spirits and religious authorities and false teachers. This isn't Jesus saying what others do and what others believe doesn't matter. This is Jesus saying, I get to assign the team jerseys, not you. What does all of this have to do with the question of who is Jesus to you? Well, in our analogy, the answer is Jesus is the team captain. He's the coach, and he's the owner of the team. This means your job, my job, is to just show up and play the game. We have no say in who is on the team. None. To go a step further, it means Jesus is the league commissioner. At our limited level, we think the issue is what team each person is on. At the divine level, God wants us to see we all need to be playing the same game. That's where our unity lies. Now look, I understand not all of this will sit well with everyone. Some will think it's heretical, and I acknowledge that I have not perfectly articulated my perspective. But I believe this is a hugely needed recalibration for many of us. Jesus said his followers will be known by their fruit. They have to follow two commands: love God, love others. If they do those things, then they are for Jesus, who also happens to be for them. Thanks for watching. If you want to find out more about this topic or other resources, click on the link in the description below that goes with this video. I hope you have an outstanding day.